No,
Are we?
We're not ready.
Oh, too bad it already started.
Nah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Like we're fucking professionals.
I don't even have my notebook for this one because I didn't take notes because I didn't care enough to take notes.
That's fine. Alright. Sorry. Well, another episode of Big and Stupid Game Reviews. I'm Stupid J.
Big Mike.
And today?
We're reviewing Mass Effect 3. For the love of God.
It's not that awful.
No, it's not that awful. And that's the worst part about it.
I have a feeling this isn't going to be so much a review of what's so great and what's so bad as it is kind of like a why it's so meh.
It is. But that's... I'm probably the worst person to review Mass Effect 3 because I didn't get very far into 1 before it got boring for me. So I only got about halfway through 2 because I didn't understand what was going on because I didn't play 1. So when I was playing 3, I didn't care enough about what was going on. So like I was literally like reading during the cutscenes and I wasn't paying attention. The only time I paid attention to anything that was going on was when I was playing, and I accidentally, like I told you before, when I started, I was just hitting the buttons to get the stupid game started. So I accidentally hit action style of play.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, how is this an RPG? This is just a shooter that I can pick my dialogue every once in a while. It was because I picked the wrong thing. And then, I swear, I started this game 3 times. And each time I went into it and I was like, I'm going to have a positive attitude going into this game.
Mm-hmm.
But by a quarter of the way through, I was either confused because I didn't know what was going on, or I was bored because I didn't care what was going on.
No, I mean, when I jumped into this, I honestly didn't even want to play it, but you know, we're trying to stay on top of what's fresh and what's out there, so everyone knows what's going on with the new games. I played the first one, didn't even finish it, I hated it. It has some of the worst controls in video game history. The tutorials were crap. The game was garbage. The camera was so bad it got me killed. I mean, Mass Effect is a shit game, and I know we are going to piss off a lot of people just by saying that because of how much time people invest in this series. But you know, again, I wanted to stay on top of it, and I agree. There's a lot of parts where I'm bored. I don't care. I don't care enough about Shepard, and that's the problem. It's when you do these create a character like things, sometimes it bites you in the ass. You know, and even though it's kind of like this is about you, kind of.
Yeah.
Because it's like, but this is still the character. They're establishing the character for you, and so it's not still 100%.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm making all the choices a lot of the time, and I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's not like Saints Row where I can literally play.
Yeah, it's
all me 100%. And it's not. They give you the tools to kind of go your own way, but it's still kind of set. This is still the way the game's going to go.
Yeah, I don't mind if you have a character that the character goes this way. This is what the character does. But then make it a set character.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that drives me crazy about when I play a game that I really like and I create a character, like whenever I see anything else about it, then it's like, oh, that's not my, you know, I actually care about the character that I make because I get to make the choices and they do what I want them to do.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like, whenever you see Shepard, he's that same sort of clean-cut guy character, and, you know, it's just one of those things. I would have rather Shepard have been that guy that you do that stuff with, rather than letting me create my own. It's just one of those personal things. It's, again, I'm having a hard time reviewing this game because everything in the game works just fine. The combat's great. In 2 and 3, the combat is great. You know, the dialogue systems, you know, BioWare does that better than anybody.
Yeah, the conversations are flawless.
Everything works great. But for me, I wasn't interested at all. So when I was doing stuff, I was like, oh, this is fine, but, you know, there's so many games out there that are fine shooters and fine RPGs that this was nothing special. And since I didn't know what was going on, it actually made it worse because I didn't care what was going on.
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel like we're getting off subject just a little bit.
Okay.
Even though we're actually are on subject technically. But let's stick with our formula.
Okay.
And that is, we'll definitely elaborate where you started, and that is controls.
The controls are great.
Definitely good.
Yeah.
Looks great,
Yeah.
especially for futuristic stuff. I really did. It's one of the few games I feel when it comes to the future that it actually does feel like people actually live there.
Yeah.
It actually does feel very alive, like parts of Binary Domain that we liked, you know, stuff like that reminds me of that in a way, and I like that. Character interactions, fantastic. Dialogue, fantastic. Acting, top notch. Just the look and the feel of it is really good. And when it comes to that kind of shit, I don't have a single complaint.
There's no complaint.
When I was literally doing gameplay, playing the game, I was having fun. I was having a blast. My entire adventure between cutscenes and the ending were fun.
Yeah.
And for me, that's
the
most important part.
And I, you know, we've been doing this long enough. Shooters, whatever. This one's fun. It works great.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a shooter...
Yeah, well, here's the beauty, too, is the powers. I mean, you get to pick your powers. You can reset your powers when you're leveling up, and all that is fun to play with. I mean, I didn't think I would get into it, and I just experimented with it a little bit. As soon as I knew it, I'm using, like, all these different powers. I'm picking my teammates that I'm liking. I'm mixing up their powers, you know, and whatever. We probably should have mentioned this, too, when we started, that there's actually 3 different ways to play this game.
Yes.
And
the action way, the RPG way, and the story way.
Which is something I've never seen in a video game. So it's really cool that you can really play your own way. And I just wanted to kind of throw it out there because, again, I didn't play 2. I don't know how that setup is.
I don't remember being able to pick how I played.
But it's unusual and it's different, and that's awesome.
And that's why I didn't even notice it the first time I went through, because I never had to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, I never had to pick what style of play it was.
But I think that's really cool, and definitely something out there, you know, y'all should definitely know.
But the action is just
shooting.
It makes it a third-person shooter with some dialogue options, which, as far as I could tell, didn't really do anything.
But it just sounds like a lot of other, you know, good shooters. But again, it's solid. I mean, I think I had some cover problems once in a while, but I don't remember it being major enough to tick me off and make a more of a mental note about it. So
it just ticked me off that I had to play a cover-based third-person shooter.
All right, well, let's definitely talk about what ticks us off. And my number one problem with this game, which is probably stupid, and I know it's stupid, but it's the creative character. I didn't like it. I thought the sliders could have been better. I thought they could have been... See, I'm used to games that are really good at creating a character, like Skyrim, Saints Row 2 and 3. I mean, even 2 had a great creative character, and that's old. You know, and there's a lot of good games. I felt that whenever I made a character, and I made 2, I made a male and a female, that whenever I made my male, he still kind of looked like Shepard.
Yeah.
And when I made my female, when I'm looking at other game reviews and I'm looking at other things, my female looks like everyone else's in a way. And I'm like, wait, that's not a good creative character at all.
No.
It really is. I mean, and I know it's because of how advanced that technology is for the motion capture and the talking, and I know that's what a lot of that really is, so they can't go too elaborate crazy. But I kind of felt like it wasn't my character then. You know, and it was kind of a little hard to be more.
That's why I said just make it Shepard. You know, everybody else is who they are. Just make Shepard who he is.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely my biggest complaint. I mean, my own other, you know, other issues were some of the dialogue stuff I just thought was dumb. You know, I'm going through it, and I know you're supposed to go Paragon or Sentinel or blah blah blah. I don't care. It's too much. It's ridiculous. But it got to the point where it's like I don't even know which is the right choice if I want to follow a certain path, which I wasn't. I was just kind of going by a whim after a while. But some of it just didn't seem like it was streamlined enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because after a while, I was doing some really good choices to help certain people because I liked certain things and certain events, and then other times I was like really against it. So and I didn't even feel like it really affected my gameplay. Like, if I was being a bastard, I didn't really see it come up. And if I'm being super generous, I didn't really see it come up.
That was the thing. It was Dragon Age 2-ish, where it didn't feel like anything I was doing was really affecting anything.
It was basically affecting dialogue.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
So, it's just one of those things, and again, if I would have cared what was going on, probably would have been a completely different experience, but see, that's the worst. The worst for me is I don't even mind playing a game that I hate, because when I'm playing like Resident Evil, Operation Raccoon City, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, this is so horrible, and then something else, oh, I can write it down, oh God. This gave me no emotions.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care, like, I didn't care what was going on with the characters. When I'm playing the game, I'm like, this is very vanilla.
Yeah.
Gameplay, I didn't care what was going on, I didn't care about the characters, I just didn't care, and that doesn't make for an interesting game. I would rather hate a game than not care about what was going on.
Again, I felt meh about it. I mean, I put 30 hours in. I saw that people have clocked in over 60 hours. I don't know where these people got it, because I'm an explorer. I love looking at every nook and cranny, looking for special things, opening stuff up. I tried to get as much out of this game as I could, and apparently I only got at least half. And that kind of bothered me, because I was literally trying to spend that time to do it, to get the most out of it, and I couldn't. But I think what's most important is that the journey getting there. And to me, that was fun. When it came to shooting, powers, putting my teams together, all that stuff was fun. And to me, that's the most important part. Unless there was anything else you could think of that you hated.
No.
Because I totally forgot I gotta bring up multiplayer.
Yeah, no, it was...
Sorry.
Like I said, very... It's one of those games where if you played it from the beginning, wow!
Yeah.
But I just didn't care what was going on. I don't know what happened to our camera person. She's not...
That's fine. But did you play the multiplayer at all?
No, I didn't, because I bought the game used, and I'll be goddamned if I'm going to give EA an extra $10 so I can play a multiplayer, which is surely a generic shooting multiplayer that I'm not going to enjoy, so fuck it.
Well, sit back and relax and enjoy my review of multiplayer.
Well, you know what I like to do while you're talking about multiplayers.
Well, here's the thing. Multiplayer is basically just one thing, really, and that's a survival mode. It's definitely something you haven't done before, but what I liked about this is there's a lot of unlockables for it. Races, weapons, abilities, you'll level up like you do like throughout the game. And it's not, you don't go and DLC buy it, it's, you know, in-game unlockable content. So, you know, the way it should be. And they even released new map packs, new races, new guns, and all that shit for free as of now, I think it's called the Resurgence Pack, I'm not 100% sure, but it's free. So they give you even more awesome online stuff. It was fun. What makes it cool is you can have like tons of different races, level all of them up, males, females, different abilities. It's fun. I mean, but yeah, it's repetitive. And like usual, the shout out to those who I played with, people who were fun to play with, good players, helpful, not annoying, whatever. And first and foremost, god damn it, I have to thank Rampage and Narwhal. I didn't actually get to play with you, Narwhal, but you gave me a lot of good tips before I even jumped into the game. And I know we were supposed to play, and I know you were supposed to help me out, and our schedules just didn't coincide. But I do appreciate all the tips, so thank you, Rampage and Narwhal. And here are the following people who were also fun to play with. Diablo Dude 666. I love it.
I like him.
I really do. Yeah.
I like him.
Takun 20. Love with Cats. Vital Straw 0320. Smiley Grim. T-Mac 175. Back Up Weevil 002. A Singing Penguin. Ethical Villain. And Johnny D. Fandango. I got to play with some pretty awesome gamer tags.
They sound pretty...
So, but again, these are people who were fun to play with, and you will totally deserve a shout out. Thanks for playing with me. You definitely made the game more fun.
Okay, so what's our final decision on this game?
If you're a fan, you should have already had this game.
Yeah.
Period. If you want an RPG shooter, you know, like Borderlands, you can't wait for the next Borderlands or something like that. Something leveling up, something a little different. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you know.
games that people love that I don't.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, again, to me, the journey is what's most important. I got over 30 hours out of gameplay. I did enjoy the multiplayer, so for me, it was worth it. I didn't mind paying. And if you played the Kingdom of Amalur demo, which is a game worth playing to begin with as well,
Yes.
you got free stuff.
Yeah, and that
game.
was the best thing about Mass Effect 3 was that I got stuff for Kingdoms of Amalur
for playing the Mass Effect
for playing the Mass Effect 3 demo.
So I do recommend the game, and I paid it new, and I don't feel bad about that money.
Okay. But if you're looking for a shooter, you can't go wrong here. So, and if you played the game, you probably already played it anyway.
So you're going to get plenty of time out of it. You're going to get your money's worth out of it.
Good.
And then, and stay tuned for our very next episode where we're going to talk strictly only about the ending.
Just the ending.
We're not going to get into that right now, but
Subscribe.
if you're not going to watch it, it's going to be filled with spoilers. Spoilers. So don't watch it if you didn't beat the game. So, if you're not going to watch a video, you should be liking it on Facebook. You should totally be subscribing to this channel.
Absolutely.
You should be checking out widgaming.com. And should be checking out TooManyGames.com.
TooManyGames.com.
And their Facebook.
And yes, we'll be there June 15th, 16th, 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Just come and check us out.
We'll be there. And then, so yeah. And then write us. We'll write you back. You have questions, you have comments. We take it all to heart, good and bad. And, well, not to heart, to consideration,
Yeah.
I should say.
We got a whole new camera because somebody suggested that we get a new camera.
Well, they were probably really
Oh yeah, they were right.
Yeah. Okay, so, see ya next week or in a couple minutes.